That was 1 minute of juggling. Before I dive into the questions, so the juggling part of class was honestly really difficult because it's something that I've never like done on a consistent basis ever in my life. So learning how to juggle and like actually trying to master it was really hard. I did have like obviously I had a lot of months to do it, like maybe we have like what 3 months to do it. So that part of practicing each week and trying to master it was really hard for me, just because like in my head like I ain't gonna lie, like my brain can't like comprehend like what's going on. Well, it can comprehend what's going on, but like it could like it really messes with my brain, like juggling 3 balls at a time, like week after week of like practice. Like I was never able to master it, which is fine because obviously this is not why I'm going to school for, you know. So I mean, it's cool. It was a cool experiment, but didn't work out in my favor clearly after juggling for like what 13-14 weeks now. So I just never really got to master it the way I wanted to, which honestly, I mean, it's cool. It's whatever. Maybe even try it after this class. So we'll just see if I can actually master it and do better as time goes on, even after this class. Just trying to master, because now I'm determined. But so for the question, in terms of the questions, I did write down like bullet points in a Google Doc before recording this video, just so I know what I'm gonna say and explaining on why this was difficult for me, and explaining like how I could use it in my future. And yeah, let's just dive into it. So, this first question was: give an explanation of how all of the concepts presented in class were applicable to learning the motor skill. So, to answer that question, obviously there's the stages of learning: cognitive stage, associative stage, autonomous stage, and then you get the intrinsic feedback, I don't know how to pronounce the word, but extrinsic feedback, and block practice, all that other like good stuff. But let's dive into it. So the cognitive stage, when the first like learning to juggle, I focused on understanding the task and basic like movements of juggling. Like, so I was focused on like degree of freedom, like what we learned in class, and like how I can apply it to juggling each week. So like for example, like toss height and hand positioning, that's something I was really focusing on, and something that like was also really hard for me is like getting the timing right. I looked at a bunch of YouTube videos online to see how like it can help, and obviously it didn't. So yeah, so but just hand positioning, trying to like time the throw, time to catch, all that good stuff. So at the end of the associative stage, as like practice progresses, you start refining your technique, recognizing patterns and errors, and adjusting tosses to maintain the rhythm. So there was I think it was week 6 where I was practicing, and that was actually my best week. Like honestly, I was doing really good at it, and I feel like once you get a rhythm, it gets easier and easier. But after week 6, I kind of like I don't know what happened after that, honestly, but I started like regressing a lot after that. I don't know how that works if I was doing it every week, but honestly, you can see it's like it messes with your brain. Juggling really messes with your brain when like you're just now getting into it and all that. So I also said the autonomous stage, eventually juggling becomes more automatic, require less conscious effort. And then your movements are smooth, and corrections are made subconsciously. So me doing these bullet points, this was like not really applying to me. But if I was to teach somebody, if I was to master this juggling, and if I were to teach somebody, this is how I would explain it. So, like if you were to practice it each week, and obviously like you learn the juggling concept of the whole thing and all that, then like it gets easier and easier. Obviously that wasn't the case for me. It got, honestly, if you want me to be honest, it got harder and harder for me, because like obviously other things in life, I'm doing all these, like going to work, doing homework of other classes, and lifting. I wasn't really focusing on juggling like that, so I like, if I had to guess, on average I was only practicing like 20 minutes each week, 5 minutes, like was like, I don't know, 5 minutes out of 4 days out of the week. So that's not that much practice. So that's probably why I'm not that good at it now. So that's the ultimate stage. Intrinsic feedback. You sense whether the balls are tossed at the right height and speed based on visual and proprioceptive cues. So yes, I was gonna say that once you see the ball go up, and then you see like, and then you throw the other ball up and wait for it to come down, that's where it gets tricky, and that's where I messed up at. So once the ball reached its peak in my hand, like, and the other ball was supposed to come in the other hand, see, it's already so hard to explain, because like it's a brain, just messes with my brain a lot. So I was never able to master that, honestly master the whole thing really. But since I'm going step by step at it, at first I was like only juggling 2 balls. See, I was doing it in this video too at first, and once I tried to introduce the third, it got progressively harder. So yeah. Then blocked practice. Practicing the same toss repeatedly, 1 or 2 balls, helps you focus on individual components of juggling. That is absolutely true, in my opinion, because once you get into 1 ball, juggling 1 ball, then juggling 2 balls, and juggling 3, it gets easier and easier as time goes on. And then I said random practices, so just practicing when you have free time. Usually I was practicing like later in the day, when I was finished with all my other homework. I would just grab the balls and juggle them. But I was just saying, like, there was times where I was on my video game, and that was time that I could have spent juggling, so just getting up just to do the juggling part of class would have been really useful. What else should I say? I said attention and focus. So early on, juggling requires significant intentional resources to coordinate movements and track balls. With practice, intentional demands decrease as the skill becomes more automatic. Yes, so once you focus more on what you're doing and actually paying attention to it, it gets progressively easier. Obviously it didn't for me because I didn't practice that much, but if I were to teach somebody, that would be the case. So I should have been practicing like 20 minutes a day. I think I would have got way better at it if I did that. So now for the third question, a description on how you will utilize concepts learned in the class in your future career. So my future career is hopefully being a PTA or a PT, physical therapist or physical therapist assistant. So my goal was to master this juggling aspect of class. So hypothetically, if I were to master it, if I did put it into practice, I do think I would have mastered it. I just didn't take it as serious as I should have. But I think this was a really good demonstration and practice on what's to come for the physical therapy world, because you obviously you're using the same muscles you're activating the same muscles when you're juggling. Each and every time you juggle, obviously your arms, the hands, constantly moving them. So if I had to apply this to being a physical therapist, say somebody injures their hands or fingers, obviously you got to work that hand, you got to work those fingers. So you constantly got to do practices of getting back into the movements, etc., etc. So what I said for that in my little Google Doc, I said I will guide patients through the cognitive, associative, and ultimate stages of learning as they relearn movements such as walking, reaching, or balancing tasks. And that was very good practice for, I think juggling was a very good demonstration, because once you do the same thing over and over, your body starts to get used to it, and you start to gain like activation in the muscle, well, not in the muscle, but gain activation in the muscle where you are practicing. So I said feedback, teach patients to rely on their own body sensations, just positioning muscle tension to recognize correction movements. And then I said practice structure, use block practice for beginners to focus on repetitive movements such as standing up from a chair, transition to random practices when they are ready to varied movements, environments like walking on an uneven terrain. And then I said practice, promote transfer by incorporating functional tasks like having a patient practice reaching for household objects, improve shoulder mobility and strength. So yeah, that's what I said. I said challenge point framework, like balance task difficulty with the patient's ability. For example, a patient recovering from a spinal cord injury might start with assisted walking on a treadmill, lower challenge before progressing into an independent walking on an uneven surface. That's for that's a higher challenge one. And then I said motivation and goal setting. Collaborate with patients to set realistic, meaningful goals such as walking a specific distance or returning a favorite activity, such as like maybe going on a stationary bike or walking outside or like walking on a treadmill, whatever, or playing basketball too, any sport. And then I said use measurable milestones to keep them motivated and engaged throughout their recovery. So maybe, I don't know, reward themselves after doing good on a task, such as like maybe walking on an uneven surface. If they had an injured spinal cord, they reward themselves with their favorite treat or something you get from the store. I don't like something, whatever like they like, honestly. And then I said by applying the motor. I ended off with saying by applying the motor's learning principles, you'll be I'll be able to create an effective evidence-based treatment plans that optimize recovery, enhance skill acquisition, and empower patients to regain independence. This knowledge will help me make a lasting impact on the patient's quality of life. And I agree with and then I think that's 100% true, because honestly, practicing a movement and actually getting used to the movement, such as actually the demonstration juggling, I feel like it's very useful to physical therapy, because if once you heal the injury, you do the task and you do the work and work hard, I feel like that then you succeeded the journey of it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's all I said, and that's all she wrote. This class was very eventful, and I will still be practicing my juggling because I will try to master it. But yeah, that is me. I'm Marcinell, and thank you very much.